It is Sunday, the 4th of September, 2016, Labor Day weekend Sunday, and I'm engaged in my alternative spiritual practice of protesting against Unitarian Universalist injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy. And what we're looking at here is a chalk slogan that was erased by, well, basically two church members working together with the complicity of two others. And so, basically three that were involved in the actual erasure of the slogan in one way or another, and one who sort of stood by and watched. So yeah, you might be wondering what it said. Oh gee, I can't remember. What did it say? It said something like this. It said, Unitarian Universalists misuse blasphemy law to cover up rape. I think that's pretty much what it said. And that's an entirely truthful statement. But what I find incredibly ironic is that when the young woman came out to, or perhaps maybe she's a child, I don't know how old she is, she's certainly acting very childishly. But anyway, getting back to what happened, she came towards me. She was in this area here, walking towards the slogan of the hose, and this was in the background. Le chemin que nous parcourons revêt autant d'importance que la destination. That's kind of ironic in this context. Que nous cherchons à atteindre. Il n'y a pas de raccourci lorsqu'il s'agit de vérité et de réconciliation. Nous devons parcourir toute la distance. So that in English says the path that we are on has as much importance as the destination that we seek to attain or reach. There are no shortcuts when it comes to truth or the truth and reconciliation. We have to go the full distance. So this young woman, in an effort to cover up and hide the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association misuses blasphemy law to cover up and hide such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers, she went from where the hose is, back there. She went the whole distance to the destination of my slogan here, and she erased it. In complete violation of pretty much everything Unitarian Universalism claims to believe in, including in violation of this thing, because this is all about reconciliation. This is all about the path towards truth and reconciliation. There is zero walking towards truth. There is zero walking towards reconciliation when members of the Unitarian Church of Montreal come out of the church, get the church's very long garden hose, which no doubt was chosen partly to erase my slogans. If it was just to water the plants, it didn't have to be quite as long. And come out and erase my slogans. Where's the reconciliation in that? There's none. And where is the truth? They're trying to hide the truth. They're trying to hide the truth that a certain number of Unitarian Universalist ministers are in fact guilty of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, to say nothing of less serious forms of clergy sexual misconduct, and b, that the Unitarian Universalist Association actually had the unmitigated gall to falsely accuse me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel in Bill Cosby-style legal bullying that seeks to cover up and hide such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers. So just making a total mockery of what's on this wayside pulpit, or what I like to sometimes waggishly refer to as the wayward pulpit of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. And we'll come around here and we'll look at the English version, because there is an English version, and we'll see how it applies. But that whole business of walking a path, going the full distance, is kind of ironic in how this woman walked a path to cover up and hide the truth. So, reconciliation will not be one grand finite act. It will be a multitude of small acts and gestures played out between individuals, and it will be ongoing until the wounds are healed. So I hate to say so, but the only multitude of small acts and gestures that are played out between the the members and leaders of the Unitarian Church in Montreal, and yours truly, are acts and gestures on the part of Montreal Unitarians that try to, you know, cover up and hide the truth, intimidate me into silence, and so on. There's nothing there in terms of healing the wounds. Nothing there of any truth, nothing there of any reconciliation. On the contrary, the Montreal Unitarians go to extreme lengths, along with their other Unitarian Universalist church members, to absolutely refuse to enter into any kind of process that could lead to reconciliation, and continue to try to hide the truth. You know, what's on my picket signs is supported by evidence. What's on my chalk slogans is supported by evidence, and you know, very solid evidence. It's almost impossible to try and pretend that what I'm saying isn't true. So instead, they just cover up and hide it. You know. So that's it. You know, this wayward pulpit, wayside pulpit of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, which is, you know, about truth and reconciliation in the terms of, you know, reconciliation with First Nations. You know, they're pretending, oh yeah, we're all in favor of truth and reconciliation within the context of reconciliation with Canada's First Nations. But their actions and other words belie this statement, because first of all, this is almost certainly mostly tokenism. In other words, they're probably not really doing all that much in terms of reconciliation with First Nations. But on top of that, you know, when it comes to reconciliation with victims of clergy abuse and victims of other Unitarian Universalist injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy, they're not, you know, making the slightest effort to work towards reconciliation. I've given them numerous opportunities to enter into dialogue with me towards the end of resolving this conflict, but they've always refused to enter into dialogue with me. I've offered to suspend this protest for 2 or sometimes even 3 months at a time, as long as they agree to enter into dialogue with me towards the end of resolving the conflict, but they always rejected those offers. I will almost certainly be making a new offer this month of a suspension of my protest. I think I'll protest for most of the month of September, but once that's done, I'll send them a little notice that if they'd like to enter into dialogue, you know, I'll suspend my protest for a couple of months if they agree to enter into dialogue with me and actually do engage in dialogue with me, and that suspension can continue as long as the dialogue is ongoing and fruitful. But they'll almost certainly reject it, as they've rejected all of the previous offers. So, you know, these people are extreme hypocrites, you know, when they put up a sign like this about truth and reconciliation, and yet absolutely refuse to enter into any kind of a truth and reconciliation process with me or anyone else for that matter.